Ghost Rider Final Vengeance issue number 2 from Marvel Comics. So yeah, for anyone who's unfamiliar with this run, Johnny Blaze lost the Spirit of Vengeance powers. He's no longer the Ghost Rider. Instead, I was gonna say a C list, but is he even a C list? Wouldn't he be like a D or E list? Basically, the Hood has the powers now. The Hood is now the new Ghost Rider. Yeah, that joke of a villain is the new Spirit of Vengeance. And the way he got it is very, very stupid. Basically, he made a deal with Mephisto to take the powers away from Johnny and give it to him. How that makes any sense, I don't know. You would think that if it's that easy, then why didn't anyone else try to make that deal? Why didn't like Blackheart or anything like that just be like, hey, Johnny is like being a real big pain in my ass? And so, can you take the Spirit of Vengeance away from him? I'll grant you something in return, but yeah, just take those powers away from him, please. Like, why didn't anyone else just do that? Also, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not caught up when it comes to like most of Marvel lore. I don't really read much from Marvel nowadays, and I haven't in a very long time. I have kept up with a lot of Ghost Rider, but there are some stuff that I'm probably missing or that have like fell through the cracks. But as far as I remember, Mephisto no longer has control over the Spirit of Vengeance. Is that, am I in the right when I'm thinking that, or is that incorrect? Like, I know he had it at first, but didn't he eventually like lose control over them? I don't know. You tell me if I'm wrong. Either way, let's actually get into this thing. Yeah, we start off with the hobo, and he's just chilling out, and there's like a huge explosion of flames, and he hears screaming. So he rushes into the building to help. And I'm like, oh, this guy is nice. This is a nice hobo. And he sees the Hood, and the Hood says that he's Ghost Rider, grabs the hobo, burns his arm, and then the Hood runs through the streets because he doesn't have a motorcycle. So instead of like cruising down the motorcycle like a badass, he's just running through the streets with flames on every step that he takes. Yeah, basically, he just kind of talks about how he made a deal with Mephisto to steal the powers away from Johnny. And he goes to like a diner where he orders everything off the menu. And so he's just like shoveling all of these kind of foods in his face. And the waitress comes to him and he touches her. And he's basically able to see like all her sins. How she stole lipstick when she was 6. How when she was 12, she used to break into her neighbor's house and eat their food and wear their clothes. How her dad used to like beat her up. And so when she was 17, she mixed like Tylenol into his whiskey and his liver failed and he died. So yeah, basically he's able to see everybody's sins, and like he stops at like a hotel room where like he's just laying in bed and he's just like, down below me someone is shooting up drugs. Outside someone's getting robbed at knife point. 5 blocks away there's a driver who's plowing through the intersection because he's just had enough of dealing with life. And then we get like a bit of his story where he's basically like a crook. He's like a bank robber, and one day he like took out a demon and he stole the demon's hood as well as I think it was like his boots or something. If I'm remembering him right. But basically he's able to turn invisible now because he has the demon's clothing. And he uses that to like rob banks. And he's like talking about how like no one can stand in his way, not even the Avengers. I'm like, dude, everyone can kick your ass. You're like the worst villain in Marvel ever. So yeah, he ends up losing everything. Like his wife leaves him, takes the kid. Basically, like they're trying to humanize the Hood, but he's just a terrible character. Like no matter how many times they try to rewrite him and reboot him and give him new powers and stuff, he's just people just aren't connecting with this guy. So yeah, he steals a motorcycle and he goes and he makes a deal with vampires. And there's like some more, but I'm not really gonna spoil everything. I'm not the biggest fan of this. Like I like Percy. He's the writer, Benjamin Percy. He wrote the previous Ghost Rider run that I basically reviewed like every issue for. You can find on this channel. And I love that run, even though I had some faults with it. I enjoyed it immensely overall. And this is like a continuation from there. So this isn't like a reboot of Ghost Rider or anything like that. This is following where we left off with that volume of Ghost Rider. And Johnny Blaze like does make an appearance in this issue. I won't spoil it though. But I feel like I mentioned this in the previous video for issue number 1. I feel like they could have taken Ghost Rider in a completely different direction. To end the Ghost Rider in the last volume, Basically, Ghost Rider, he like has this partner named Talia, and she is like basically his goth girlfriend. Like they hook up and basically develop a relationship. And in the last issue, they even create like this moon child. Like they have sex and do this ritual where they create this like baby to use as like to get them into this mansion. And at the end of that, she ends up getting dragged to hell while still alive. She ends up sacrificing herself to take out the main villain and ends up getting pulled into hell. And Johnny watches all this. So I thought, well, why not have like a volume, it's like a series where Johnny goes into hell to try to get her back? Instead, Johnny just is like, well, there goes my goth mommy. All right, I'm just gonna go head on, hit the road, and just continuing doing Ghost Rider stuff. Like Johnny doesn't seem like that kind of person. I would think like if there's someone that he holds very, very dear to him, he's gonna do everything he can to save them. And Johnny has the power to get into hell if he wants. He's been there before. He's been the king of hell, literally. So like a whole series where he just like goes into hell to try to get her back. That could have been a cool storyline. Instead, we're taking his powers away from him and giving it to the Hood. And it's just like, why? Why would you do that? Plus, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I already have like this hate on when it comes to taking powers away from legacy characters to give them to other characters. Like, I don't believe in passing the mantle. I freaking hate that. Like, I feel like Peter Parker or Spider-Man. There is no mantle of Spider-Man to pass on to anybody else. Ghost Rider is Johnny Blaze. I know there was a Ghost Rider before who was like a cowboy. I can't even remember his name. He's not like the Pale Rider. And I know that there's Danny Ketch. Danny Ketch is fine, but to me, Ghost Rider is Johnny Blaze. Wolverine is Logan. Like, these are not mantles you can pass on. Hulk is Bruce Banner. So anytime when they're like, no, we're going to give these powers to someone else, you already lost me. But of all people, you're going to give it to the Hood, one of the worst characters ever. Worse as in, like, no one gives a crap about this guy. Like, this would be like, I don't know, if the new Doctor Strange was Arcadia or something. Like, it's stupid. Like, this is just, of all the villains, not even just villains, but of all the characters, you're going to give it to, like, a D-E list villain that no one cares about, who's basically, like, a running joke. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that Percy's going to be able to pull something out of his bag of tricks to make this entertaining, but, whatever. I will say that I like the design for him, though. Like, the Hood as the Spirit of Vengeance looks kind of cool, like, if you look at this cover. And I like how, like, his guns, like, the way, like, when he puts them together, it looks like a skull. Like, that's kind of cool. So that's a plus. But having this Hood guy being the new Spirit of Vengeance and basically making the Ghost Rider not necessarily, like, a straight-up villain, but he's also not an anti-hero. He's like, what would you call the in-between? Like, an anti-hero is like in between a villain and a hero. This guy is like the in-between between a villain and an anti-hero. Like, he's not good enough to even be an anti-hero, but he's not like evil. It's more like he just kind of ignores what's going on around him for his own gain. But that seems a little too villainous to be considered an anti-hero. But maybe that's just because of the way anti-heroes are nowadays are different than what they originally were. I don't know. Kind of rambling at this point. Yeah, this feels like a series that no one really asked for. And we could be spending our time and the talents of the writer and the artist on a better project, a better Ghost Rider. But yeah, we're kind of stuck with this for now. So there you go. There's Ghost Rider, Final Vengeance, issue number 2 from Marvel. The Hood is the Spirit of Vengeance, and yeah, I'm just not feeling it right now. Hopefully that changes, but I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.